We moved to a quiet farm, but something was watching us every night. We thought moving to a quiet farm in the middle of nowhere would fix everything. No noise, no traffic, no people, just open land, fresh air, and silence. That's what we wanted. That's what we told ourselves we were getting. But on the third night, something was already watching us. And the worst part, it wasn't even trying to hide. My name is Alex Thompson. My wife Sarah and I had spent the last 6 years grinding in Chicago. Me at a dead-end marketing job, her teaching kids who didn't want to be taught. After the miscarriage last spring, the city started to feel like it was choking us. We needed space. We needed quiet. We needed to feel alive again. So when this farm in rural Iowa popped up for less than the price of a used car, we drove 6 hours without thinking twice. The nearest town, Eldridge, had barely 800 people. The kind of place where everyone weighs whether they know you or not, and nobody asks too many questions. The farm looked perfect in the photos. 2-story white farmhouse, red barn out back, 80 acres of cornfields stretching forever, no neighbors for miles. The realtor, Marlene, a tight-lipped woman in her 60s, met us at the gate. Previous owners left in a hurry, she said when I asked why it was so cheap. She smiled, but her eyes stayed flat. "You folks from the city?" We laughed and said yes. She handed us the keys and drove off without another word. We should have asked more questions. We didn't.
Sarah, the keys.
The first thing we noticed inside was that everything was still there. Furniture, clothes in the closets, family photos on the walls, half-finished dishes in the sink. It looked like the Harper family had simply walked out one afternoon and never came back. Sarah shivered. I told her it was free furniture, a steal. That first night, the quiet was too loud. No sirens, no cars, no voices. Just the low hum of the fridge and the creak of old wood. Around 2:30 a.m., I woke up for no reason, heart already racing. I lay there staring at the ceiling. Then I heard it. Soft footsteps outside, slow, dragging, circling the house. I sat up. The sound stopped instantly, like whatever it was knew I was listening. I crept to the window. Nothing. Just darkness and the black outline of the barn. "Probably a deer," I whispered. I wanted to believe it. The second night it happened again. Same time, 2:30 a.m. This time I didn't move. I felt it. That heavy, electric feeling of being watched. Slowly I turned my head toward the bedroom window. A shape stood right outside the glass. Too tall, too still. No face I could see, just a black silhouette. Arms hanging wrong at its sides, head tilted slightly. It wasn't moving. It was studying me. I froze. It didn't move. After forever, it took one slow step back, then another, and melted into the cornfield. I didn't sleep again. Morning came. I checked the cheap security camera we had mounted on the porch. At exactly 2:31 a.m., the footage showed it. The figure didn't walk into frame. It was just suddenly there. Body too thin, arms too long. It stood perfectly still for over 10 minutes, staring straight through our bedroom window. Then his head tilted exactly the way I remembered. One step backward, and it was gone. Sarah watched the clip with me. Her face went white. Alex, that's not an animal. I tried to laugh. Local kids. My voice cracked. We both knew it wasn't. That same night, we heard something from the barn. Loud metallic scraping, like heavy chains being dragged across wood. We grabbed flashlights and a baseball bat and went outside like idiots. The closer we got, the colder the air felt. Even the crickets went dead silent. I slid the barn door open. It screamed on its hinges. Inside, the darkness felt thick. Our flashlight beams died after a few feet. On the dirt floor were fresh scratches, long, deep, like something had been dragged or had tried desperately to claw its way out. Then we heard a slow, wet breath right behind us. We spun. Nothing. But the barn door was closing by itself, inch by inch. We ran. The door slammed shut behind us. We were halfway to the house when we heard it. Loud, frantic scratching from inside the barn. Something racing along the walls. Fast, desperate, like it was chasing our footsteps even after we were gone. That night it came closer. We were in bed when we heard footsteps inside the house. Slow, deliberate, crossing the hallway downstairs. Sarah grabbed my arm so hard her nails drew blood. We locked the bedroom door and held our breath. The footsteps stopped right outside our door. 3 slow knocks. I didn't move. It didn't move. Then the voice. My voice. Alex, open the door. A pause. You forgot your keys again. My blood turned to ice. I had never said those words out loud tonight. I had only thought them earlier when I realized I left the keys in the car. Never spoken. Never. Sarah started crying without making a sound. I almost answered. The voice sounded so much like me it made my stomach twist. We stayed silent. The footsteps finally walked away, but we both knew it had been inside. The next morning, we tore the house apart. Under a loose floorboard in the upstairs bedroom, we found a leather journal. Daniel Harper's handwriting. It got shakier with every page. Night 9. It stands at the window every night now, closer each time. Night 12. I keep hearing footsteps in the hallway when we're both in bed. Night 15. Last night I saw a shadow in the bathroom mirror, but I was already in bed. Night 18. It knows our routines. It waits until we feel safe. There were blurry Polaroids stuffed in the back. The same tall, thin silhouette. First outside the window, then in the hallway, then standing at the foot of the bed while the family slept. We decided to leave right then. We packed the car in 20 minutes flat. We were going to drive straight back to Chicago and never look back. But it had other plans. That night, our last night, we were loading the final boxes when the front door creaked open downstairs. Heavy footsteps crossed the living room. Then silence. I grabbed the flashlight. Sarah begged me not to go. I told her to lock the bedroom door and stay put. The living room was empty, but the air tasted metallic. My own reflection in the dark window looked off, like it moved half a second after I did. I turned toward the kitchen, and there it was, me, standing in the middle of the room wearing the exact same gray hoodie and jeans. Same messy hair, same stubble, but the eyes didn't blink. The smile was too wide, too slow. It tilted its head exactly the way the thing outside had done. Then it mirrored my movement, but half a second late, like a video with lag. In my own voice, it said, calm and friendly, "You took too long, Alex." I felt my knees buckle. It knew my name. It knew the exact tone I use when I'm trying to sound calm. It even copied the tiny scar on my left eyebrow that I got when I was 12. I didn't scream. I just ran. Sarah was already in the car, engine running. We peeled out so fast, the tires spit gravel for 50 yards. We drove through the night and didn't stop until we crossed the Illinois state line. We never went back. We told the realtor to keep the deposit. We told our friends the isolation was too much. We lied. But sometimes, late at night, I still wake up at exactly 2:30 a.m. Sarah is asleep beside me, breathing steady. I lie there staring at the ceiling, listening. And every once in a while, I hear soft footsteps outside our 6th floor apartment window, dragging, circling. I don't look. I never look. Because the last time I did, the silhouette wasn't outside anymore. It was standing right behind me in the reflection of the glass. And it smiled before I did. And sometimes, Sarah looks at me like she's not sure either. We moved to a quiet farm to find peace. Instead, we brought something home with us. And it's still watching. It's still learning. It's still waiting until we feel safe again. What would you have done if you saw yourself standing in your own kitchen at 3 a.m.? Drop your answer in the comments. And whatever you do tonight, don't look at the window. Stay safe out there.